The first is the proposed changes to the Federal Racial Discrimination Act, Section 18C of that Act. The Federal Attorney General, the Liberal Federal Attorney General George Brandis, is currently reviewing that Act and has hinted that he may well water down that important section of that Act. This is about hate speech. It's about racial vilification in the worst terms. It's about the sort of hateful writing and if you like, preaching of everything that our multiculturalism stands against. We are the multicultural capital of our nation, harmonious, respectful, diverse. We're stronger for our multiculturalism. It makes us such a great and vibrant state. It's our richest asset, our most precious thing. And we should always speak out against anything that might put at risk that harmony, that diversity, that precious gift that is our multiculturalism. So I want to make it very clear to you and your readership, to you and the community you serve, and to all Victorians, that Victorian Labor stands against any watering down of Section 18C of the Racial Discrimination Act. Yes, it's a federal matter, but the capital of multiculturalism in Australia needs to have a strong voice. And sadly, Dennis Napthine and the Liberals have not spoken up on this issue. But I'm not afraid to send a very clear message to Tony Abbott. Do not change the provisions of that Act. There's no place for hate writing. There's no place for hate speech. There's no place for prejudice and intolerance, certainly not in the great state of Victoria. Just finally, this will often be talked about in the context of free speech. Well, racial vilification, prejudice, bigotry, hatred is not free speech. It's not free at all. It comes at a very significant cost. It puts at risk our harmony, our diversity, the strength of our state, and that's the fact that we come from so many different parts of the world, and we've come together and built something so much stronger because of our shared cultural heritage and the celebration of that cultural heritage each and every day.
What will you do? What contribution will you do if you win the incoming general election? What contribution will you do to the multicultural
Sure.
community?
That's a very good question. We haven't made our detailed policy announcements yet in terms of supporting festivals and events, young multicultural community groups, seniors multicultural community groups, and a range of other changes, particularly the suburbs and in country Victoria. We haven't made those announcements yet, but we will, and we'll make sure that multicultural media and multicultural communities across the state have plenty of time to analyse our policies before they vote at the end of November. And there are issues around programs like TAFE that have been cut by this government. And if you cut TAFE, you make it much harder for young people, particularly vulnerable young people, and those who come from torture and trauma and war-torn parts of the world. There's no one more vulnerable than that. You make it much harder for them to get the skills that they need and that they desperately want. They've risked a lot, everything really, to come here. They want to be part of a productive Victoria. They're passionate about building a new future, and we should meet them halfway with the training and the support that they need so that we can be a stronger state.